Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Pauper Premiere League, sponsored by CoolStuffInc.com and Wizards of the Coast. I'm Kendra Smith, a.k.a. the Maverick Girl, and I'm joined today here with...
Michael Bonder.
Heck yeah. So, Michael, we just saw you play up against Evan here in round 3. How did you do there?
I actually think I got if you get ahead against the Izzet Delver deck, it's you kind of it just started snowballing.
Yeah.
And they have the Augur of Bolas, which is a pretty nice card, but the problem about the Augur of Bolas is it has 3 toughness, as the only creature in the deck. So if they deploy an Augur of Bolas, then the Pestilence will just stay there forever, and you'll kind of negate the life loss with one pristine talisman, and then you can just ping everything with the Pestilence afterwards.
Yeah, pretty much. And
sorry.
That's what I was a little worried about when I was watching Evan make that play. I'm like, oh no, you're just gonna get kind of locked out a little bit there.
Yeah.
I wonder if that might not have played a little bit differently had you not drawn the Guardian when you did.
Yeah, definitely. He has no way of removing the Guardian except the Curfew. I didn't even know if he brought it in. I played around it because I could, but I don't know if I should have. But the Guardian is just a game over basically when I play the Pestilence and the Guardian on the same. When I have both on the battlefield, then it's a pretty game over for the Izzet deck. If they haven't tempoed me enough life loss at that point, at least.
Right. Awesome. So at this point, it looks like it sounds like we're about ready to go here. So we've got Evan Erwin again here on Izzet Delver, and he's now going up against Alex Ullman on Goblins.
Yeah.
And Goblin's deck is a little fiery, as you saw in that second round there, Michael.
Yeah, I thought that I could hide behind the protection red, but it was a bit too fast, and then I accidentally tapped both my my Basilica and regular land, so he could burst me out. But it is a very explosive deck, and I had to mulligan in both games to... Actually, I mulliganed decent hands, but I knew that he was just too explosive for them to be viable.
Right. And Evan here takes a mulligan, which seems pretty fair. The hand he had before was okay. He took 2 mulligans. I missed the first one.
Yeah.
This gets a little scarier, but I think it's still pretty fine. Alex's hand is a little slow. Obviously, Evan doesn't know that, but Evan still kept, Faerie Miscreant into Spellstutter Sprite into Fire Ice. I feel like that's a pretty solid lineup.
Yeah, so I think having the Spellstutter Sprite and having the Fire Ice is just it's the... I wouldn't say the perfect mulligan to 5, but I think it's close.
Alex is just drawing straight fire here, honestly. Look at this. He's got 2 Bushwhackers, 2 Goblin Grenades, just sitting in that hand ready to be deployed.
Yeah. So the question is if he wants to do the burst, or if he just wants to pass the turn and not play into Spellstutter. I think if he doesn't play into Spellstutter, I think Evan might have to just play out the Spellstutter to get some ninjutsu action going.
That's what I think is going to happen here. Oh, Evan did not. I wonder if Evan maybe F6'd and missed the opportunity, or...
No, I think when Alex isn't playing anything, then he could have Lightning Bolt as he had against me, or Spellblast, but I don't think he's going to.
Oh yeah, that's a fair point.
So not playing the Spellstutter, you can just get... He has to tap out, so he doesn't have a counter next turn. So right now he isn't that much pressured with a Fire and Ice.
So we're gonna go nice and in here on that Bushwhacker.
Yeah. And then a fun thing here would be if Evan actually blocked the 2-1, the one that pings.
Yeah.
I might see him block that one instead of going for the ninjutsu, and then just hoping to draw an island to deploy the... I can't even... Faerie Miscreant.
Faerie Miscreant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he found an Augur off the top. So yeah, it's pretty much. There's a couple lines here. You could go in for the Ninjutsu, which it looks like he is. The other play that you could make there, which would be a bit of a heads-up play, would be to cast fire targeting the Arsonist and the Bushwhacker. And obviously, you would probably lose your Spellstutter in the process, but it would also get your threats off the board. Yeah. And Alex is setting himself up very nicely right here. I think this locks it up, actually.
With 2
That's
grenades.
6 damage and 2 grenades. That's it. That's our game 1 here. Very fast. Goblin Grenade is just crushing it. Like, we all knew that like Goblin Grenade was like a pretty solid card and that it was going to be really good, but it is just putting in some serious work tonight. I mean, obviously, that's what pretty much got you. It was just that 1 extra point of damage, really. 1 or 2 extra points over like a bolt or a like a Fireblast or something, and it was just that little bit extra that really pushed it over the edge. And obviously, here, same kind of thing. Yeah.
So the thing is, you really need to have the balance between having enough creatures and then having the Goblin Grenade. It is a super powerful card for 5 damage for 1 mana. Mm-hmm. But if you draw multiples or even the Fireblast, then sometimes it can be hard to actually get it out of your hand. Because applying enough pressure. But Alex is doing a great job with his stormy goblins, as he wrote on Twitter.
Yeah. I don't know. That's quite the goblin storm that we've seen, because there is like a weird goblins storm deck that I've heard about and seen. I don't remember the exact list, but it's meant to kind of go off with like Brightstone Ritual.
Yeah.
And so we're not quite seeing that here, but we're definitely seeing some serious power and some serious punch from Alex's deck. And it's definitely looks like it's pretty well reasonably lined up for the evening here.
Yeah, so Evan has some pretty good cards in his sideboard. He both has Electrify, he has Fire Ice, 2 copies, and then he has 3 Hydroblast.
Yeah.
So I would assume that he's just going to go full control here, trying to get as much out of his cards as possible.
And if you look at Evan's hand starting out here, he's got 2 Hydroblasts. He's got the Spellstutter. Yeah. I mean, he's going for this. This is where we're at right now.
Yeah, and this is actually a fun place to be, because he fires off the Hydroblast, even though it's also a removal spell, just to tie up some. Not to tie up, the other way around, like to loosen up some mana on his turn, because the Izzet Delver deck, it might not seem that hungry for mana each turn, but you just need to use your mana almost every turn in the first couple of 5 turns.
So we're having just a little bit of trouble displaying the bottommost hand a few times here and there. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Yeah, because before we were sitting there, I was thinking along the lines of, okay, maybe Evan will go Ash Barrens for the try and get a second island, just have 2 islands. Yeah. That way you could hold up the Hydroblast and you're fine. But the fact that he got a mountain was a little head scratching there. And then we saw it pop up and okay, that makes a little more sense. Now when he has a mountain, he can use that against and fire it off against whatever creature's on the board here.
Yep. What Alex is doing here, though, with his creature selection is he's playing quite nicely around the Lightning Bolt. It's a pretty sad feeling to Lightning Bolt the Mogg War Marshal.
Yeah, for sure. So,
but he is gonna go with the Skred here on the War Marshal,
which is smart because that also saves him some life in the process.
Yeah. Skred also a card that we didn't see though
yeah, for sure.
Now there's a Delver, so that must be the card that he drew for the turn and then drew from Ponder. Mm-hmm. So I would imagine that he shuffled.
Yeah, probably. Alex looks like he held up a red mana, so he's holding up for the Fireblast or the Pyroblast and the Lightning Bolt. Man, Evan is just missing out really hard in his matches here on these land drops, unfortunately. Yeah. Which is that's been like the real killer for Evan tonight. It's land drops more than anything.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's important for the Izzet deck to just hit your land drop. So sometimes you need to fire off a Preordain, as he did rightfully before with the Ponder, just to get your third and fourth land drop, because you want to cast the Sprite into another Sprite so that you can counter a 1-mana spell, even though they have a removal spell for the first Sprite. Or you want to play Ninjutsu and then have a Counterspell. So you just really need to go to 4 mana to actually get everything rolling.
Right. This is a hand where Evan right now desperately wants to see the Electrickery out of his hand. Like, the Electrickery will just put in so much work right now if he... Okay, we got a Preordain, so that makes sense. We're going to try and see some more lands.
Funny enough, Evan is actually not playing Brainstorm. I haven't seen many of the new Izzet lists because I never play Izzet ever. So I'm wondering if it's...
There's definitely some interesting choices. As I understand it, Evan took a list that was a little more stock compared to what we're seeing now. And there were some very interesting choices. There are no Swirling Sandstorms in the sideboard. What's your take on that one, Michael?
Yeah, as I said, I don't really I usually don't play these tempo decks because I don't think I'm that good at it, and I don't think it's like that fun to play with blue cards. But I definitely think like that's a card that can take over a game that you're almost losing. Like it's the only card that can get you back in the game in some spots. So it's interesting that he isn't playing it, but he is playing a lot of other cards like. To be able to kill what me, Andreas, and Alex usually play in the MTGO challenges. So I like the sideboard when you're looking at who he's facing.
Yeah, for sure. So we got... Looks like we're grabbing the island. So we finally hit our third land drop. And thankfully, we're still at that point in the game where we're actually kind of okay. You know, yes, things are getting a little dire, but like our Alex is still kind of in the driver's seat here a little bit. Or I mean Evan. I'm losing track of who's who here.
But so, the thing is, this is kind of an awful spot for Evan, because he kind of wants to fire off the Spellstutter Sprite, but he knows that Alex has the ping for 1 and probably has like a lot of removal spells in his hand, so he's going to fire off the Fire Ice here, even though the Spellstutter Sprite might seem like the obvious play, but it's kind of a heads-up play here because he knows about the ping for 1.
Right, which is definitely the smart play. But because Alex is only getting in here for incremental damage every turn, at least at this point, so... Yes, there's like a big lightning bolt, there's a big goblin grenade, and there's the big death spark coming soon. But right now, it's not quite enough just yet.
No.
Ooh, and there's the Electrickery.
There's the Electrickery.
So that's really interesting.
Yeah, so let's see if...
Unfortunately with the Goblin Raider in play here, the Electrickery isn't quite as good. Ooh. Now that's a play I kind of like. Now that the Death Spark is in play, because Evan obviously didn't know about the Lightning Bolt, and this is actually good for Evan because by making Alex use that Lightning Bolt there, it actually saves Evan on some damage here.
Yeah.
So Evan's going to take 2. And obviously, we have that threat of the Goblin Grenade, but what's probably just going to end up happening is there's probably just going to get an Electrickery just snapped off here.
Yeah, and the fun thing here is that even though I can mock, what is it called? Mock. The one that he has on the board.
Ooh, that's a second Goblin Grenade. This is probably locked up.
The Mogg Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if Evan is kind of heads up here, he's just gonna fire off the Electrickery and not try to. But he doesn't. Let's see if Alex just goes for the throat here and hopes for the best.
He showing a little patience there.
Yeah,
I like that play actually.
Yeah, when he's not behind, I would like that play as well. But I think Erwin should have fight off the Electrickery though in his own turn.
Absolutely.
I think I would have done that at least. But holding off the Goblin Grenades has both their upsides and their downsides. If he plays the Goblin Grenade on the Denizen, Denizen will be the only card in the graveyard that's a creature. But I guess then you can't.
Okay, so this is pretty much officially locked up at this point now. Evan didn't hit his other land drop, and so Alex is just going to go fire off the creatures, double Goblin Grenade. Even just one Goblin Grenade will do it here.
Yeah.
So that's all. It's going to be all she wrote.
But it seems like. Yeah, so he's just going to pass the turn here.
Yeah.
Evan has been quite unlucky with his use of his mana. Like, I think against me, he did like a middle ground where he never really got to utilize the power of the tempo because he did a mid thing instead of going for either getting mana or getting the tempo. He did like a mid-ish control-ish thing. And I think some of the hands just draw up poorly. And you take a decision and then the deck just punishes you if you draw the incorrect cards for that line of play. So again here, not playing the Electrickery when he could kind of made him suffer with mana issues again. But it's also unlucky only drawing 3 lands.
Yeah, and that's what's really killed Evan in a lot of these matches. Most, just unfortunately, is that he just kind of kept getting stuck on these lands. The hands that I've been seeing here tonight from Evan have not really favored his deck. We haven't really seen much deck manipulation. We haven't seen, obviously, the land drops themselves. So it's just kind of put him in a bit of a tough spot. So it's most unfortunate.
Okay, Kendra, I have a question. Is there any is Cool Stuff Inc. Are they doing any sort of promotion here? I've heard something about 5% off.
Absolutely, and let me just triple check here. Yeah. All right.
During the break, you'll find a promo code for 5% off on Cool Stuff Inc.
And I will let you know. We got it right here. It is PPL5. All caps on that. So what you're gonna do is you go in, you make your account, you fire up your cart, you fill it up, get all the sweet Pauper staples in because there's a lot of them, and you can type in that PPL5 code and the checkout, and you'll get 5% off your entire order. Now, that does not stack with any customer rewards discounts, but 5% off is 5% off, especially with those Pauper ones. Formats cheapen, making it even cheaper. That's really nice, if you ask me.
Thank you for hosting this, Kendra, and thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for joining in here, Michael. Now, at this point, we're going to pass it off and go on break here while we set up our next match. Next, we have, let me pull this up here real fast. We have Alex Ullman versus Andreas Peterson. And it is going to be you, Michael, again here with Evan Erwin commentating. So we'll be back in just a moment, just as soon as we get this all set up. Meantime, enjoy a word from our sponsors here, Cool Stuff Inc. And just as well, we got our nice little sponsorship here from Wizards of the Coast. Thank you so much to both of them. And we'll be back soon.
Yep.